prospect in the 2025 recruiting class, Bryce Underwood, has just flipped his commitment from LSU to Michigan. And I mean, how can you blame them? Michigan, it came out that said Michigan had prepared a 8-figure NIL deal for Bryce Underwood to come to Michigan, right? He's a hometown kid, right? He's from Michigan. He plays football in Michigan. And so how can you blame him? Now, I know recently it came out that he said that he was not going to go to Michigan, but I feel like when he made that decision and he posted that on his social media, um, he hadn't talked to his parents yet. Because, how can you blame someone um, for not passing up $10.5 million, right? If that's how much it's going to be, how can you not blame? How can you blame them for letting that walk by, right? And so this is a big time pickup for Michigan, and this is a big time L for LSU and Brian Kelly. That 2025 class was going to be very, very hard to keep. I seen a stat somewhere that pretty much every five-star quarterback. Well, how can I say this? The chances of a 5-star quarterback staying to the team that he committed to originally is very slim. So, the analytics is correct, right? Bryce Underwood has flipped his commitment. And, the 2025 class, I believe, I'm an LSU fan, but like I always say, I like to keep it real. I think the 2025 class is going to fall apart. We saw that Decorian Moore flipped to Oregon a few months ago. A couple other kids flipped their commitment, and now Bryce Underwood just flipped his commitment, right? And I think that you're going to see a couple of more dominoes, um, you know, fall from the 2025 class. I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm not also going to get on here and bullshit y'all, right? Um, and you know, if I had to lay the blame at someone's feet, I probably would lay the blame at Brian Kelly's feet, right? Because Brian Kelly is the head ball coach. Brian Kelly is the head coach, right? And it all started when Brian Kelly decided to let Mike Denbrock walk um, to go to Notre Dame, and he decided to make Joe Sloan the offensive coordinator. Now, you know, there was reports that said that Joe Sloan and Bryce Underwood had a very, very, very good relationship, but again, money talks and bullshit walks, right? But I mean, Bryce Underwood was in. He was at a game. I think he was at the Alabama game where he saw LSU get destroyed by Alabama, right? Um, and why would anyone want to play in that type of offense, right? When you're a quarterback, when you're a wide receiver, when you're a running back, you go to those games and you try to envision yourself playing in that offense. And that offense is just not it's not dynamic. It's just lackluster, right? Joe Sloan, some of the plays that he called have you scratching your head, asking yourself what the hell is going on. With all of that talent on the field for LSU, a youth football coach, an offensive coordinator can do a better job than what Joe Sloan can do, right? And the LSU team doesn't have an identity. Can't run the ball. Um, the offense has regressed a whole lot. So, Bryce Underwood probably was like, nah, I don't see myself playing in this offense. And also, Bryce Underwood probably saw himself buying a couple of Hellcats with that $10.5 million. Another thing is that, earlier in the offseason, Brian Kelly came out and said that they were not going to get in a bidding war for recruits, right? He said that it was not going to get in a bidding war for people in the transfer portal and players that's coming out of high school. So, too much pride probably also bit LSU in the butt, right? It's reported that LSU has one of the largest NIL collectives in college football, but when you got someone like Brian Kelly who has a lot of pride, he's not going to want to probably get in a bidding war with Michigan for Bryce Underwood. I find it funny though because Louisiana is a state where we have a lot of casinos. We have a lot of casinos. People work hard and play even harder. And so when you think about New Orleans and Lake Charles, Louisiana, and some of these other places around Louisiana that has these really nice, beautiful casinos. People in Louisiana like to gamble, so you would think that Brian Kelly would, read the tea leaves and say, all right, let's go ahead and offer maybe, 10.6 million or whatever, right? But nope. LSU was outbidded, right? And I said this in a post a few weeks ago is that Brian Kelly is going to have to get he's going to have to get in the transfer portal, and he's going to have to throw some money at some of these players to come out of the transfer portal and play at LSU. I don't give two shits. I don't give a rat's ass. Put all that pride to the side. LSU is not going to go anywhere without a few, dynamic players out of the transfer portal, right? Now, um, if that's not the case, then Scott Woodward's probably going to start looking at another coach because NIL is here to stay, the transfer portal is here to stay, and money is the name of the game. Kids no longer care about having a really nice locker room, which LSU has, having a really nice sports facility like LSU have, being able to build a brand, right? You think about the brands that was built at LSU: Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Odell Beckham, Leonard Fournette, Olivia Dunn, all of those people, right? Yeah, they built the brand, but these kids don't care about that anymore. They care about money. And I don't give two shits if I ever have a brand. If I'm giving $10.5 million for my services, I'm taking it, right? Some people got a brand that they don't even make $10.5 million off their brand. So uh, you know, that has a lot to play with. That has a lot to do with it, right? But when I saw that report came out about Michigan offering $10.5 million, I said to myself, "It's over with. It's over with. Bryce Underwood is gone. I can't blame him. That's a lot of money. Shit, I've been alive 38 years, and I don't think I've made over $10.5 million in my life since I've been working. I don't know altogether, right? Who knows? But yeah, you can't turn that down. I'm all for NIL. I am, but I do think that NIL has to get some type of guardrails on it, because Bryce Underwood. If there's going to be another Bryce Underwood that come along, whether it's at running back, wide receiver, or quarterback, something like that, and more money is going to be offered to that kid to go play at a said school, right? So, $10.5 million is just the floor. Uh, Kids are going to be getting way more than that here in the next year or two, if they're going to come out as highly rated and touted as a Bryce Underwood, right? Now, what does LSU do, right? Again, LSU could, National Signing Day, early signing day is coming up in a few weeks. LSU could get in the bidding war and get back in contact with Bryce Underwood people and say, hey, man, we'll throw you a little bit north of $10.5 million, right? I don't know how much, again, Brian Kelly want to get into a bidding war. If I had to guess, he doesn't want to get in the bidding war. Brian Kelly has zero nuts. But this is going to hurt. And so maybe, LSU can look somewhere else and try to flip another highly rated quarterback, or you can just turn to who you got on your roster, right? And just put everything behind them, right? But this is going to hurt. And I think a lot of those kids that signed up in his 2025 class that was excited about Bryce Underwood playing with Bryce Underwood is probably going to start looking elsewhere, and leaving LSU because the writing's on the wall for LSU. Again, like I said the last time I went live, Brian Kelly can savage your program. He can pull it out of the mud. He can build a program. He just cannot bring a program across the finish line, right? He cannot do it. And, Brian Kelly, this is year 3 of a 10-year contract. And with Bryce Underwood flipping, you got to think that Brian Kelly has gotten, when that news came across his phone, or when he got that phone call, I'm pretty sure Bryce Underwood camp called him and says, hey, we're going to be going somewhere else. I guarantee you Brian Kelly turned beat red in the face because he know his seat has just gotten that much hotter. You let the number 1 wide receiver in the 2025 class flip, and the number 1 quarterback in the 2025 class just flipped. LSU is in shambles. Am I disappointed as an LSU fan? Yeah, I'm disappointed, but I'm not shocked that the kid took $10.5 million. That's gonna set him and his family up for a long time to come. It's going to set him up for a long time to come, right? And so kudos to him. I wish I had $10.5 million, but y'all let me know in the comment section below who y'all think is responsible for Bryce Underwood flipping to Michigan. As always, thank you for supporting the channel. Hit that like, leave a comment. It helps the channel grow. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I'm out.